What's going on, and welcome on into the channel again, coming at you with a full deep dive. I've been doing a lot of research and I'm going to go through every single skill point here, as well as I'm going to highlight two of the main skill points and all about skill points that I think are going to be very important when this game drops, and exactly essentially what you're going to be probably looking for as your own individual golfer. Obviously, this game is still about 2 to 3 weeks out, so once we get our hands on the game, it'll be a lot easier to run the tests, and some things obviously are going to be a little bit biased towards your style of play, and things are going to change once we are able to run everything. But there's a lot of information and a lot of questions about the skill points, so I kind of want to dive into every single one of them and exactly what you're looking for and what exactly the skills are, because this is a big area that draws some people away. This takes away from the true sim feeling of the game and creates more of an arcade feeling. It's also going to change a lot of factors, such as your numbers are going to be changing on the fly. So if you use one of the boosts, your irons normally go blank 170 yards, but now you're getting a boost. Once we run that data, we'll know exactly how many yards you're getting that boost. And then the wind ones, when you're hitting into the wind, how is that changing your numbers? Is the wind only playing half as strong? So I'm going to run all of those tests once I get my hands on the game. Obviously, I don't have partnership with 2K, so I am just doing what I can with the information that I have. So don't forget to like and subscribe, though. These are the types of videos that you're going to be getting once the game comes out, as always. So I'll give you a second. Hit that subscribe button so you get this content as quickly as possible when the game does roll out. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. So this is your skill point system. Obviously, I talked about it. It is going to take a little bit away from your sim feel. It's going to have a little bit more of an arcade. So let's cover a couple of the big things. Obviously, there's a category for every club you have in the bag. This is going to be very important because if you don't use hybrids, you can save yourself a lot of points by not putting anything towards the hybrid. You're going to only have 50 skill points. And how you get these 50 skill points? You get them by leveling up. Every time you level up, you get one skill point until you reach level 50, and then you max out your skill points. You will see at the top, each category or column has a number associated to them. You do not unlock that column until you have spent that amount of skill points prior to any of the previous columns. So if you want something in column 7 all the way at the end, you have to spend 24 skill points anywhere throughout any of your 7 clubs previous to column 7. You also can jump around. Once the column is unlocked, you don't have to use the skill points leading up to it. So if I want something in column 6 for the driver category, I do not have to use skill points for driver in column 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to get to column 6. I can jump right to column 6 as long as I have spent 20 skill points previous in any of the categories. You'll also note that there is 3 little dashes around every single logo. Obviously, those are your levels. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Each level obviously costs more skill points, so if you're going to do a level 3, that's going to cost you 3 skill points. The level 3s are much easier to activate, and they will last longer, but obviously they're going to cost you more skill points. You're not going to be able to unlock everything, so you're going to have to pick and choose what type of player are you. Are you somebody who's pretty good at this game, gets a lot of birdies, usually shoots somewhere between -6 to -15? You're probably going to want to go what is called the momentum categories. So that is going to be your categories in category 4 and 6. And we'll cover that as we go throughout each of these. And then there's the support categories. People who are usually not as good, more of the beginner level, who struggle to hit fairway, struggle to hit greens in regulations. These will activate once you essentially mess up. You miss a fairway in regulation, you miss a green in regulation, you miss a bunch of putts. These will activate then. So you can essentially just skip those categories right out of the gate. If that's somebody who's not you, you're used to hitting 90% of the fairways, and you're pretty much killing it. If not, these skills are here to help. Category 7 is going to be your passive skills. They're going to be your always on, always activating skills. So those are going to be very important once you're able to unlock category 7, because they will always be on. and we'll dive into exactly what those are. And they're pretty much all of the same and can be very crucial based on what archetype build you have. There's going to be a lot of mixing and matching based off of what archetype you have. And obviously, when the game comes out, I'll deep dive into more of which ones are better than the other ones. But let's kind of cover a lot of them right now, do a deep dive into each of them. I'm going to go through every single one of them. Try not to make this video too long, so I won't. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you just want to chat about these skill points, feel free to leave a comment down below. And just pass this video along so that more people can get the information out there. And I look forward to doing full data deep dives when the game comes out. So we're going to start with the driver here. This is the Trailblazer. Obviously, this is column 1, so this is going to be your support categories. You have to be messing up or playing poorly for this category to activate. So your Trailblazer, if you miss 3 fairways in regulation or you miss 2 fairways in regulation, then you're going to get an active boost towards your swing path. So your ball will start on line a lot more. Next is your fairway and range finder. This is going to be your category 2. So this is going to be your momentum. 2, 4, and 6 are your momentums. And if you hit 3 fairways in regulation, which that's very likely to happen, you are going to have an increase to your shot shaping. So that's going to be your spin, your ability to draw the ball, your ability to fade the ball. And obviously you can see these are going to matter because if you pick an archetype build that is either like low in power, low in shaping, low in spin, something along those categories, you can help yourself by activating these skill boosts within 3 holes. Or if you have this at level 3, within 2 holes, you can activate this boost. And we don't know exactly how long they're going to last for. Obviously, that will come when I run the data when the game comes out. Tee time is the next one. This is going to be a support category. So if you have poor timing, you are going to get a boost to your timing. Now, obviously, we need to ask ourselves once the game comes out, what is poor timing? Is it just a slight gray, or is it a old red gray, now a dark gray, an old red, like a red fast, red slow, now they're dark grays? But is that poor timing, or can it be a slight late, slight early? Next up, we got off the deck. This is going to be good swing timing. You get a boost to your lie range. Obviously, with a driver, this can be a little bit weird. Unless you're hitting into a par 5, then you're essentially going to have a driver off the deck. Probably why it's called off the deck. Next up is aerodynamics. This one's going to be massive. I'll cover this a little bit later. Actually, I'll do the 2 columns after I do each columns of which ones I think are going to be the best. So aerodynamics is going to be hitting into a wind. You essentially can flight the ball a lot better. The wind is going to have less of an effect if you are hitting into a 15 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour, 5 mile an hour wind. Tee it and crush it. Hit carry distance. If you hit it a certain yardage, you're going to get a power boost. So that's going to be pretty beneficial as well. And then take the wheel. These are your passive categories. So passive categories means that they are always on. You just have to ask yourself, level 1 is going to be an help to your transition, essentially create a bigger transition period for you. Swing path is going to be a wider swing path. And then timing is going to be your timing at the of the swing. So that is pretty much going to be categories for the driver. Now, let me cover the 2 that I think are going to be massive. Aerodynamics. If you can get this at a level 3, how often are you not playing into a 5 mile an hour wind? This is going to be pretty much active for a good amount of bit because it's going to be a level 3 and the wind is going to have very little effect on your driver, so you're going to be able to hit the drive a lot farther. And then you combine that with a tee and crush it's. And you're probably asking, well, these are category 5 and 6. You're going to have to spend 16 points elsewhere. I'll cover that when I get to the putter and wedge and where you're probably going to spend your points earlier in those categories. But if you combine an aerodynamics, which hitting into a wind with a tee and crush it's, and you get a drive out to 300 yards at a level 2, you're getting an extra power boost. Now you're crushing it. Now you're really mashing the ball with your driver. You can use an archetype build that doesn't have the powerhouse build to it, and now you could be hitting it just as far as somebody who's on a powerhouse build. Or you can be a powerhouse build and you could be hitting at 350, 360 on the reg. So that's going to be very huge. Now let's jump into the wood category. Obviously, category 1 is going to be your support skills. So you miss 4 fairways in regulation, and you're going to see here you can boost a lot of these. So if you miss 4 fairways in regulation, there's also one for the driver about missing fairways in regulation. If you combine those together, they'll probably all activate at the same time, and you're going to layer these really nicely. So once you figure out if you're a momentum person or a support person, you can really layer these so that they're all activating at the same time and everything is really helping. But this one is pretty good. You're also going to have to ask yourself, will this activate? Will you be missing 4 fairways in regulation? Will you be missing 3 fairways in regulation? If you're not going to be doing it, then you're going to be wasting skill points. So you're really going to want to figure out what type of person you are once you get the game. And essentially where your weaknesses are going to be a very important factor to analyze. Just personally look yourself in the mirror type ordeal. Obviously, category 6 and 5, I'm going to be very heavy on. Next up, we got rangefinder. This is going to activate if you hit 4 fairways. Like I say, you can layer these. You're going to get a transition. Obviously, you have to ask yourself, how many times am I using a wood? Am I using a 3 wood a lot? Probably only on the par 5s, not really on the par 3s. Unless it's a really long course. So really, how much do I want to spend in the wood category? Cut it close is going to be poor swing timing. You're going to get a power boost for poor swing timing. But like I said, you have to have poor swing timing 4 times. I don't know yet if that means poor swing timing with any club or if it has to be poor swing timing with only woods. That's something that will have to be run once the data comes out. And I'll make a follow-up video on all of this once I get my hands on and the data gets run. So just note that in case you have any questions or concerns. Next up is human metronome, normal shots. If you have good swing timing 4 times, you're going to activate this one. 3 times, 2 times is going to receive a timing boost off the tee. Next up, you have your punch shots, increase shaping if you miss 4 greens in regulation. Like I said, you can layer these pretty nicely. And I'm going to try to just go through them quickly so this video isn't hours long. Momentum. Momentum is you score 4 birdies or 3 birdies or better. So you can layer these. You'll see you're going to be able to layer these. You're going to have a swing path boost. So your white bar on your swing path is going to increase. And then obviously layer 7, same thing as the driver. It's just your passive. They will always be active. You just have to ask yourself, transition, swing path, or timing boost. Which one would you like for these clubs? Next up, you have the hybrid category. So obviously a lot of people don't play hybrids. I personally played a lot of hybrids in 2K21, so this might be a category for me. But if you don't play hybrids and you're the 3-iron person, then you can probably get away with not using anything in this category and save yourself a lot of skill points. So that's something that, hybrids might be dead if you can get that 3-iron to go the same as a hybrid, but we'll figure out stopping power and everything once the game comes out. So gusto is obviously your support category, hitting into the wind. Like I said, you can layer these very nicely. That's a big thing that you should pay attention to, is your ability to layer a lot of these. Hybrid, spin class. So you got hit 4 fairways in regulation. Once again, we can layer that very nicely and activate a lot of these. You get a spin boost. Obviously with the hybrid spin boost, you're going to want to stop it into the greens. So that could be very key if you are hitting a hybrid with a to try to get it to stop compared to an iron. Next up, you have Survivor. Now, normal shots receive a timing boost from the heavy rough. Heavy rough only. That means that light rough, it won't activate in the light rough. So is this going to be worth it? Also, will you be scoring bogey or worse 3 different times, 2 different times, 1 different time? You have to ask yourself that question. Unorthodox. Normal shots receive a power boost. Now, this is something that I was talking about. If you're getting a power boost with a hybrid, you normally hit your hybrid 212. Now you're getting a power boost. Is it going 230? Are you sure it's going 230? This can make or break your birdie eagle opportunities. And you have to have good swing timing 4 times. Now, like we talked about, we'll see if that means all clubs or just with the hybrid. I'm assuming it means any club. If you have good swing timing, poor swing timing 4 times, I'm assuming that it's going to be with any club in your bag it's going to activate. Because how many times? You're not going to hit a hybrid 4 times. Back on track, normal shots receive a lie range boost. This could be very helpful, but you have to have poor swing timing 4 different times to get you back on track. Normal shots receive a swing path boost from the fairway. So this is score birdie or better 3 different times, and you get a swing path boost. And then level 7 is passive. I didn't cover. Well, I'll do hybrid first, and then I'll go back to wood. So hybrid categories, the number one thing that I think is migration. Obviously, I don't think there's too many great ones. You could use potentially the gusto hitting into the wind for the hybrid, but I think that might be a little bit of a waste of a skill point. I think the migration one will be very good if you get 3 or more birdies or 2 or more birdies, depending on what level you have. You can get a swing path boost, and it can be a very forgiving club for you. Let me go back to the woods because I forgot to cover the 2 that I thought were very good. Momentum, very good. Score birdies 4, 3, or 3 times. And essentially, you get a big swing path boost. But that's a wood. You got to ask yourself, how many times are you going to be using this? The other one is going to be rangefinder. Hit 4 fairways in regulation, 3 fairways in regulation. You can combo that to have a really good boost there for you on the woods. Now let's go into the irons. I think the irons are going to be a category that's going to get a lot of these skill points. Obviously, the first is the agrostologist. Now you have to score bogey or worse 3 different times to get a lie range boost in the heavy rough. That means not light rough, depending on what course you're playing. You're going to have to pay attention to that. You're probably going to see a lot more course designers now putting in heavy rough in their games compared to the light rough to force these on people. Next up, you have calculator. Calculator is going to be one of the badges I'll talk about a little later. And pitch shots receive a shaping boost. So that's going to include draw spin, fade spin, also just regular backspin. Land within 7 yards, 10 yards, 13 yards. Next up, you got beach bums. Splash shots we now know are bunker-only shots, so splash shots receive a timing boost. Now, from what a lot of the early gameplay shows is the timing on chip shots, splash shots, all of those short partial shots are a lot harder this game. So it's something you're going to really have to pay attention to, and it might be something worthwhile. Too breezy. Obviously, we talked about this, layering the badges together, layering the skill points together. So this is something that could be very useful. Let's roll. Normal shots receive a roll boost, so a rollout boost from the heavy rough. Obviously, you have to ask yourself, will you be in the heavy rough? Miss 3 greens in regulation. That's also, how many greens in regulation are you missing? Because that could be crucial. Blacksmith, normal shots receive a power boost from the fairway. So if you land in the fairway, score birdie or better 2 different times, you can see category 6 is pretty pristine. I've pretty much gone through all of these top picks. Category 6 is some top-notch stuff there. And then you're just boosts. So you got to ask, you're going to hit a lot of iron shots. So I think you're going to want to spend a lot of points here in the iron category. Obviously, calculator for me is going to be something that I'm going to probably want at least to the level 2, possibly level 3 category. Too breezy, I'm going to want all the way up to, who knows, because it says hit 1 green in regulation for a deactivation. So if you're hitting the greens in regulation, then, you're not really activating this badge. It could be very good, but as soon as you hit a green in regulation, you're pretty much deactivating that badge. So it's something that could be very good, but it also could be very bad for you and never activate if you are a consistent player. Blacksmith is something that I think is going to be pretty pristine. So I covered 3 there just because I think irons are going to be very important. Next up, we got the wedge category. This is your support level. This is your aeronologist. You have poor swing timing 3 different times. Your splash shots receive a timing boost. So obviously that's going to be, like we talked about, the bunkers in the splash shots. So we'll have to see exactly how difficult they are to hit. Perfect pitch. Pitch shots receive a spin boost within 101 yards. And that's going to be score birdie or better 4 different times, 3 different times, 2 different times. If you score par or worse 2 times in a row, then you are going to obviously deactivate your badge. So next up, we got bump and run. Chip shots receive a roll boost from the heavy rough. This could be very good. I don't know. Like I said, it's probably going to make course designers put a lot more heavy rough around the greens. Dialed in, chip shots receive timing boosts. I just mentioned chip shots are apparently a lot harder because chip shots can go up to like 26 yards now. So that means you're going to be hitting a lot of partial chip shots from 8 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards away from the greens. It's all going to be partial, so you better be practicing your partials, but obviously you can get dialed in there. Flop-tastic, flop shots receive a shaping boost, so you can spin the ball more, you can fade it, hook it, whatever you want to do. Miss the greens in regulation. Double major, you receive a power boost from the fairway, hit fairways in regulation. You get a power boost. Higher degree, obviously, is your passive stats. So let's talk about the ones that I think are going to be fantastic. I'm going to actually cover 3 here because, like I said, I think I'm going to heavily weight a lot of my early remaining points, skill points, to the iron, wedge, and putter categories. So that way, category 6 and 7, I can pump in the driver, iron, wood category. Wedges, I'm sorry. Perfect pitch. I think this is going to be crucial. Obviously, I'm a little bit of a better player, so birdies are a lot more likely. So I'm going to be probably trying to get this to a level 3 if possible. Dialed in will be a absolutely home run guarantee for me. I can already tell. Chip shots, timing boosts, it's going to be maxed out. Pretty much, yeah, it's gonna be maxed out. Floptastic, no. Double major, that's going to be something that I layer with fairways in regulation. Hit 2 fairways in regulation. You get a power boost with your wedges. We know wedges usually go a lot shorter, so that is going to be very crucial to get that power boost. Let's jump to the putter category. Putting is going to be half of your strokes, essentially. So this is something that you're probably going to really want to prioritize. Zen Garden, you're going to receive a putt path boost. Miss 2 putts in a row from within 5 feet. If you sink 1 putt, though, from within 5 feet, then this deactivates. So you're going to have to really pay attention to that. Receive a putt path boost on the green. Sink 2 putts in a row from within 5 feet. Score par or worse, you're going to get a putt path. So that's going to be very good. Next up, you have the receive a putt weight. So obviously, your putt weight is how far you hit the ball. If you miss 2 putts within 5 to 10 feet, then you get your putt weight boost. Essentially, your big white bar when you putt, it'll be a little bit bigger. Receive a putt weight boost again for your goal weight, or it's called goal weight, and that's going to be sink 2 putts within 5 to 10 feet. Did I cover that wrong? I'm sorry. Pathfinder was miss 2 putts. Goal weight is sink 2 putts. So you have to ask yourself, will you be missing these putts? Will you be making these putts? It can drastically change. Greenskeeper is the next one. You miss 2 greens in regulation, you're going to get a roll boost with your putter. It's good. If you score par or better 2 times in a row, then it pretty much deactivates. So I don't really see that as a viable option. Receive a putt path boost on the green. If you land within 3 yards of the pin, then essentially you're going to get a putt path boost. Like I said, category 6 is primo. If you can get anything you can get in category 6, pretty much is going to be top notch. And then last is putt path, putt weight. This is going to be very important because if you choose a build that has pretty crappy putting, you can immediately just go, or not immediately, but eventually go to category 7 with your skill points and increase your putt path or putt weight based off of which skill point you choose, and then you'll be getting bumps pretty immediately all the time on the putts. So that makes me lean towards a little bit a lower putting meter or a lower putting skill boost. So because I'm going to get this boost if I plan on equipping this. So let's talk about lastly a couple ones that I think are very important. Sink 2 putts within 5 feet, the short stuff. I think that is going to be really good if you can activate that one. And then the other one, I think you could really go 2 different options. You can go Pathfinder, miss 2 putts in a row between 5 feet. I think if you can get that, just miss 2 putts between 5 feet and 10 feet, then you get your boost. I think that will be a level 3 at this badge. Could be very good at Pathfinder. Goal weight, if you're sinking 2 putts, then that could be very good as well. You just have to ask yourself, are you a really good putter, or are you not that great of a putter? So I hope this kind of helps. Obviously, you're going to have to activate something in column 1 up to 4 skill points before you can even get to the next level. So obviously, we'll have to figure out which ones we're going to go with that category. But I hope this really helps you out. I hope this makes a lot more sense. If I didn't answer any questions that you did have. One thing. You can clear, these aren't locked in permanently. You can clear these at any time. It costs you 500 VC, but VC is pretty easy to earn, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope you guys like this video. I'm sorry for the long drawn out, but I wanted to be as in-depth and thorough as possible because I hope you guys see the level of effort that I put into running data and running statistics for you guys. So when the game comes out, you're only going to get even more data, even more stats, and I'm going to teach you guys how to layer these to make your player better than everybody else. Catch you guys later.